Hello and welcome to the Flow State presented by the Bluntness. I'm your host, Taylor Engle, coming to you live from Washington today, and I have a very special guest with me. Angela White is an Equity for Industry Program Manager at Success Centers. Her focus is developing sustainable career paths previously less accessible to communities who were impacted by inequality and the war on drugs. In less than 4 years at Success Centers, Angela has developed an incredible array of workshops, resources, and growth opportunities for community members and Success Centers partners seeking to establish their equitable participation in the rapidly expanding cannabis industry. Angela, thank you so much for being here today. Can you please let us know where you're coming from?
Thank you, Taylor, for having me. I'm coming from San Francisco, California. I work with folks in the Bay Area.
Very nice. Lovely. Great. So why don't you begin by telling us how you got into cannabis?
Well, here at Success Centers, I used to do a dispensary out in San Jose where I was the manager. And, when you're working in a mom and pop's organization, you do a little bit of everything, the hiring, the cleaning, bud tending, answering the phones. Right. And so, I had this experience, and about maybe a year before I came to Success Centers, Liz Jackson Simpson had told my daughter, I'm going to start the cannabis programming, and I don't have anyone that I could use to help me launch this, and my daughter says, why don't you call my mom? She says, your mom? Yeah. And so I started talking to Liz over the phone. We talked for a while, about a year or so, 6 months, kind of, getting an idea of how we were going to, what she was asking me was, how do I do this? And so I'm telling her, well, there's the jobs, and there's, trying to work with participants and things of that nature.
Right.
Going for her, and need you. And I said, you need me? Okay, what do you need? And she says, no, I need you to come work for me. And I said, well, when do you want me to come? She said, yesterday. So I quit my job. And 2 days later, I was at Success Centers. But I tell everybody else, give a 2 weeks notice, right?
Right.
So that's how I got here.
Oh, wow. Okay. What a whirlwind. So you've been at Success Centers for a while now. What are maybe some of the kind of things you're working on at the moment, or things that are interesting you about the cannabis industry right now?
Well, there's several things. So we have a hiring event that we do. It's called the virtual budding industry job shop. It's in the virtual space now, where we bring in employers who are hiring to do sort of like a TED talk to potential job seekers. And they talk about the different aspects of the company's culture there. And I want them to be able to explain different things that they're looking for in the characteristics of the person that they're going to hire, because I want the participants or the job seekers to understand what kind of environment they could possibly be working in. And it's been very, 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 very well received by both the job seekers and the employers, because they have a better retention rate, folks that come from Success Centers. So that's one of the things we do. And then we have a cannabis resume clinic where we have volunteers from the industry that come in to work with participants on getting their selves together to sell themselves on paper to the employers. And they also have mock interviews at that clinic as well. So they're getting a little training on how to interview, what to do, how to sit, how to talk, how to answer these questions. And they're critiqued on that, and they all do better. And by coming to those resume clinics and mock interviews, most of those candidates do get hired. And it's really done a remarkable thing. We also do expungement clinics. Our expungement clinics are free to the community. Right now, we're working with Kevin Dahlia, who is from his law firm. They're doing pro bono services to work with folks to get their records expunged. So we do that. We also just recently launched a Equity Pathways dispensary training program. It's a paid internship where they learn the history of cannabis, cannabis and the body, cannabis products and its uses, dispensary operations 101. And then they come out with the metal POS system training. So they're able to function with the POS system once they get into the 500 hours at $18 an hour dispensary training, on the job training. Oh, let's see. What else?
That is amazing.
Right. And then we also have the Equity for Industry workshops, where we're working with San Francisco Verified Equity and those who are seeking to become verified, who want to start a cannabis business. And we bring in industry professionals again to do workshops on different things like managing a cash only business, or understanding non-disclosure agreements, or, maybe you want to get your recipe for your product perfected, and we have people that care about that, and just anything that our community needs, we try to provide them or provide it.
That's amazing, Angela. Oh, wow. Okay. So quick question, directly related to kind of the interview prep that you do with people at success centers. I would imagine a lot of that kind of translates to any profession, any sort of interview resume prep. But what would you say is specific to the cannabis industry that you think, people applying really need to keep in mind?
Well, that first of all, excuse me, you're not going to be able to come to work high. That's the main thing, because I think people think because it's the cannabis industry that you're going to be stoned at work. No, that's not the case. And so, those are some of the things that I have to, let people know about. There's definitely a code of ethics and conduct that you are required to adhere to, right? Uphold to, right?
Right.
So, that would be the main one. It's a fun industry, but it's not for you to have fun while you're at work.
Yeah. Jobs do not require you to be high the whole time.
That's right.
All right. Awesome. Okay. Well, we are now going to move into the 10-minute flash question section. So I've got 10 questions for you, all related to the cannabis industry, and you will have 60 seconds to answer each question.
Okay. Excuse me, I'm coughing.
Oh, no worries at all. It's that time of the year.
Okay.
All right. So first up, what is one cannabis product that you can't live without, and why?
I'll say flour. Okay. Just in general, because I suffer from migraines, right? And so I've been on this one hitter quitter regiment for over 30 years, and I haven't had a migraine. And so that's what works for me. Mm-hmm. So the flour, okay. I couldn't do without.
Yeah. Do you have like a particular strain that you really kind of gravitate towards?
I like the wedding cake.
Oh, I love wedding cake.
And so with me, I get, different folks that will say, try this, try that, and it's a one hitter quitter. So whatever it is I'm needing, it works.
Yeah.
So, as long as it tastes good, I'm good with it.
Yeah. Don't mess with a good thing. All right.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So what is what is the number one piece of advice that you give to somebody who's applying for a cannabis job, besides, you're not going to be high every day?
Well, one of the things I tell them is, no's will be your badges of honor until you get a yes. That's one thing.
Okay.
Let's see. This industry is very small. Mm-hmm. And so your word is your bond in this business. I tell people that all the time. Make sure that you are ethically trying to do everything that is possibly correct, because It's a small community and people do talk. So
Right.
that would be one thing. I tell them, if they get into an environment that they're uncomfortable with, to talk to me about it so we can try to get you out of there. What I don't want people doing is just quitting their job and walking out, although California is the at-will state where you can be fired at will or quit at will.
Right.
We want people to do exit letters and that kind of thing to move on. And then when you're going into dispensaries or you're thinking about working somewhere, go there and visit and look around in the place, right? If there's a bunch of miserable looking people in the room, that's probably not the place for you.
Right. Chances are you won't be happy.
Right.
All right. Well, obviously you did mention cannabis during work hours is not, a great idea. But is there any sort of profession or area where you think it is permissible, or do you think it's kind of just no, cannabis and work shouldn't mix?
Well, I know that some people would say it depends. So Success Centers is a nonprofit. Let me start by saying that. And we are non-cannabis or plant touching, right? And so at what the dispensaries do, each dispensary is basically on them. I just try to let people know that this is still a business, you know what I'm saying? And so I don't know what goes on once they leave here, but if the companies are not wanting you to be high at work, then that's going to be the rule. And so typically in a lot of jurisdictions, they don't want people using on the site for cannabis, right? For the workers. And so I just wanted to prepare them for that. That's all.
Yeah, no, that makes complete sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What is, when you started working in cannabis, what was sort of the most surprising thing that you found about the industry?
The most surprising. I think that, let me see, I had wrote something down about that because I wanted to say something that was more, I know what it was, how segregated this industry is. Mm-hmm. I work with a lot of the folks from the marginalized community, and there's and one of the reasons why I do this work, or why we do this work, is because we want to make sure that, the folks who have been over incarcerated in this industry and had their families, because the equity program is based off of the war on drugs, right? And what has happened to our communities, from some of the egregious acts that took place, over incarceration, separation of families, kids, your children put into foster care, moms dragged out in front of kids, dads dragged out in front of kids, and so it's been a lot of hurt and harm. And so what is surprising is sometimes the reluctancy of folks who have not suffered these egregious things, are judgmental about the people who want to get in and who deserve to be here. And so with that said, I'm working hard because I know that by having people that look like you who own these facilities and who are have experienced or had someone in their family experience on drugs, they're more likely to be friendly towards bringing people on and in different kind of ways. And so it's kind of like trying to create an autonomy around folks that look like you to make sure that you're getting a fair chance. How about that?
Yeah, very well said. Mm-hmm. All right. So what if someone came up to you and said, I'm afraid of cannabis, I've never tried it. What would you say to them?
I would tell them that, cannabis works with everyone's body differently. Mm-hmm. I would tell them about my experience with cannabis and why I just use a one-hitter quitter regimen. until, if you want to see how that's going to react in your body. Do not be afraid of it. Your body's only going to use the properties in the cannabis that it needs, and the rest of it will just flow out. So don't worry about that. And don't be afraid, because whatever your condition is, it may truly help you without the hard side effects of other drugs.
Right. Amazing. All right. And what is one of the first things that you tell people who want to get started in the industry? What is sort of the first thing they should do?
Give me a call. Call me, right? 415-549-7002. That's my direct number here at Success Centers. If you're interested in working, send me your resume. Let's get on the phone. Let's talk and see, what your goals and aspirations are for the cannabis industry. And yeah, that's what I usually say is give me a call.
All right. You all heard it here. Perfect. All right. And then what about cannabis media? Do you have a blog, an influencer, a podcast that you really enjoy getting kind of information from?
Yeah, I listen to the Cannabis Lawyers, and it's on YouTube. I really enjoy that. Cannabis legalization lawyers, and it's Cannabis News, and they keep you kind of updated there. There's two guys on there. I don't know their names, but they're really, really interesting to listen to their take on cannabis, and they cover stuff all across the country. And then I do read a lot of Tom Angel's Marijuana Moment. I think that his stuff is really, really, really good and detailed, and I can kind of, move around and see what's going on again in other parts of the country. Yeah. And those two are my favorites.
Nice. All right. And what about a cannabis hero? Do you have anyone in the industry, present or past, that you really look up to?
Okay, so I have a list of heroes and sheroes. How about that?
Perfect.
So Della Sky Jones over at Oaksterdam University, when I first came on, was a shero to me, because I went to her about the community that I was serving and what they needed. And I was trying to see if she would be willing to offer scholarships, and she did. She was a hero. So we gave out about 260 scholarships to equity community members, which is pretty awesome, right?
That's outstanding. Wow.
Let's see. And then I'll say Zoe Wilder and Zoe Mike, because they genuinely care about marginalized community and trying to ensure that my voice is heard. And they know the work that I'm doing, and they support me. And so I would say that they are my hero and shero. Marie Momarquet, who is with MD Numbers. She has been by my side for about 2 years now, working with us. She has a farm in Salinas, and she manages 8 different licenses. And so she has a wealth of knowledge, and she's just so generous with everything she has. We do tours out to MD Farms for folks who've never seen cannabis growing and how that whole transition works, and they're able to ask questions that way. I would say Hirsch Jane, who's with government affairs over at the parent company, because Hirsch comes in periodically to give us updates on the nation and local things that are happening in the state of California. He's just awesome. He never says no to me. And so he's my hero. Kevin Haller, who is with AK & Associates. Kevin is a 280E tax man. I mean, he tells us or helps folks make sure that they stay compliant, so that they are crossing all those T's and dotting all those I's, so that they can pass their tax audits and things of that nature. He's awesome. Uh-huh. And then Alicia Johnson, she's from the parent company too. And Alicia does a lot of marketing and branding and workshops like that. And she will do follow-up, and I can call her and ask her anything, and she always says yes. So I just have a list of heroes and sheroes, and I couldn't even tell you all of the ones that I have in this community. So yeah, there's some great folks.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a few of them. Very nice. You did mention, Angela, that your favorite method of consumption is smoking flower. Do you have a favorite brand?
I usually try to do some of the equity brand. I just tried another one that is called Equity. It's ECQUITY. EC, the number small two, QUITY. I thought that was really creative how they came up with the name, but yeah, great product. High Purpose is another brand that I really like. They have United Players is another one that I like. So the equity brands I'm usually trying to endorse and trying to really try those, and they're really good.
Nice. Mm-hmm. All right. And then finally, can you please tell us all about the first time you ever tried cannabis?
Oh my goodness. It's a bad story. Hanging out with my brother and we're sneaking and smoking, and I got too loaded. That's why I say one hit, that's it.
Yeah.
And I was spinning, and he said, go in the room, whatever you do, don't lay on your back. What was the first thing I did? I laid on my back. Oh, no. So, oh my God, it was a bad experience. He came, you're gonna get us busted. So yeah, watching yourself on what you intake is very important. So I know to be smart now.
Well, it's a very valuable lesson for you then.
Yes.
All right, amazing. Can you let us know where can we find you online?
So you can visit our website at successcenters.org. I'm also on Instagram, and Success Centers also has a Instagram handle. Mine is at 415 Queen Cannabis. If you want to just DM me more about the, what we're doing, and then you can kind of see the events that we have upcoming. And yeah.
All right, amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Everybody listening, you have been listening to The Flow State presented by the Bluntness. Thank you so much for joining us. Feel free to give us a review, a like, or share this with your followers. And for more bluntness in your life, you can find us on social media or directly at the source, thebluntness.com.